Hey guys, let's go to a fully complete vibe coding session. We're going to start from an idea, and then we're going to vibe code it, and then we're going to test it out. So, whatever projects you vibe code, we all know everything starts with an idea. And I was scrolling through X, and then I saw this guy post, what if we all stop engaging with AI generated posts? And then you'll see here that I left a comment aside from the obvious ones, like how can we tell if a post or comment is AI generated? Aside from the obvious ones, right? So I thought to myself, it would be pretty cool if we could vibe code a Chrome extension, right? That would be able to add a percentage display next to each post, right, on your X feed. From 0 to 100% of how likely is this post a AI generated post. I think that's going to be very useful, right, while you're scrolling through X, because these days people are automating a lot of things, and that is inclusive of generating posts for X or for a multitude of social media platforms. And so that's the idea, right? Let's see if we can vibe code a Chrome extension that will add some sort of a badge on each post from 0 to 100% of how likely is this post a AI generated post, right? And we're not going to worry about the comments for now because I think that might be a bit too much. But I want to go to a full, complete vibe coded session here. And I want to show you guys how I vibe code a lot of the projects that I work on. And so this is a fully unscripted video. So you might see all the mistakes that I make. And this video might get very long. But we're going to try to get an MVP up and running. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I like to do is use ChatGPT to help me plan out my idea. So what I'm going to do here is just paste in, let me grab the notes that I saved for this idea, and then I'm just going to paste it here. So, I want to build, right, a Chrome extension that rates the percentage likeliness of X posts being AI generated. And let's add some more details here, right? So on my X feed, I would like to add a percentage badge 1 to 100%. So this is going to be our prompt. So we want to add like a percentage badge from 1 to 100% of how likely this post is AI generated or not. This is just an idea, right? Like, I don't even know if this is possible or, what's the recommended way of building a Chrome extension like this. So I need you to help me plan this idea in JavaScript, and is it even possible? Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT says. So yes, it's absolutely possible. So that's music to my ears. So we're gonna be able to build a Chrome extension that adds an AI generated likelihood badge to post on your X feed. So we're going to read the X post from the feed, and you can use the DOM selectors or whatever, run AI detections on posts. Okay, so this is going to be an important part here, right? So we're actually going to be using AI to detect AI generated posts. Talk about the irony, right? So you can use a local LLM or an LLM API. So we're going to use an LLM API, and I think so in order for this Chrome extension to work, we're probably going to need to create a backend, but that's okay. We're going to vibe code that as well. And I won't skip any steps. We're going to go through it from scratch. So once we run the AI detection on the post, then we're going to inject the badge in the UI. So we can just use this using basic DOM manipulation in JavaScript, which the Chrome extensions can do. Now, I think the most challenging part here is going to be the real-time detection. So imagine we're on our X feed, and as we're scrolling, you know this is an infinite scroll. So as you keep scrolling, the post will be loaded in dynamically. So we're going to need to figure out how to handle that. And I'm not sure if we're going to be doing that in this video. Maybe that gets too complicated out of the scope of this video, but that's something that we'll keep in mind. So detection approach, you'll need a backend or embed model to classify tweets. So we're going to need an API based detections. There's many LLM models that we can use. There's OpenAI, Gemini, Claude. So what I'm going to do is actually use a tool called OpenRouter. So it's a pretty cool API that we can use to switch between multiple LLM models, right? So we don't have to sign up for an OpenAI account if we want to use OpenAI, or if we change our mind and we want to use Gemini, then we have to create I think a Google account in order to try Gemini. The same thing for Claude. We'll need to create an Anthropic account. OpenRouter simplifies that process, so we have a unified API for accessing all the popular LLMs, and this is what we're going to be using. And I can show you that I already have an account here. If I go to my credits, you can see I have a couple of dollars here. So that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to need, after that, we see that ChatGPT is giving us some extension architecture plan. So there's a lot of stuff here. UI injection, challenges. Okay, so rate limits we might run into. If we're using a remote API, whatever, MVP plan, create the extension, detect tweets on the yada, yada, yada. Okay, so if you're not technical, you don't understand what all of this is, that's okay. What we're going to do here is actually ask ChatGPT to give us a plan so that we can start building the Chrome extension without having an existing backend, because we don't have a backend at this point. So we're going to say, hey, I want to create this Chrome extension, but I don't have a backend yet. So let's just try to use like mockup or fake data for now. And we're going to add a new prompt here. And so I'm going to have to type this out, but guys, if I'm being honest here, what I usually use to enter my prompts is a tool called, what's it called? Types. I want to share this tool with you guys because I think it's very useful, but I don't remember how it named. Let's see. Yeah, so Whisper Flow. So if you're vibe coding a lot, you know everything starts and ends with a prompt. So you're going to be prompting a lot. And then a lot of the times it's much more easier if you can just speak your prompts out loud and then just transcribe it and then inject it into your vibe coding tool of choice. And this is what Whisper Flow does. But as you can clearly see here, I've already reached my limit. So I'm going to have to type this out here. So let's just do that. Okay, so this is an important part, right? There's many AI builders out there. vibe coding tools that you can use. My personal favorite is Cloud Code, but unfortunately, as I'm recording this video, I've exhausted my Cloud Code credits, and so I'm going to have to use Cursor, and that's uh, the vibe coding tool that we're going to be using in this tutorial. So what I'm going to say here in my ChatGPT prompt is, I'm going to be using Cursor. Me a detailed prompt that I can paste into Cursor to create an MVP for my Chrome extension. So let's see what we got here. Okay. So we're gonna get our MVP features, target the xfeed, twitter.com, grab visible tweets, inject random AI badge for each, and then update as new tweets appear scrolling. Okay. And then, so if you guys don't do this, I think it's good if you can plan before you actually start vibe coding. And I find that ChatGPT or any AI chat, that you use will usually do a good job of generating a meta prompt that you can paste into your vibe coding tool of choice, right? So here you can see that ChatGPT gave me this prompt for Cursor. You're building a Chrome extension that analyzes tweets on a user's X feed and adds a badge to each tweet showing a mock-up AI generated likelihood percentage from 1 to 100%. And so we don't have any backend yet, so it just generates a random percentage for now. And so when it comes to creating like a Chrome extension, there's a recommended way of doing it, and you can see that ChatGPT is recommending that here. And then use classes and selectors that match the current Twitter X DOM as of 2025. So I'm hoping it has this up-to-date information about the right DOM selector to use. So if you don't know what that means, if we go to X or Twitter, and each post, right, if we inspect this, let's minimize this thing, grab this. So each post has like a container that wraps it, right? So you can see like this one has this container, and then within that we can find all the individual elements, right? Like the actual tweet body and other information. And so what we're saying here is that please use your up-to-date knowledge, right, to find the correct DOM selector. When we say DOM selector, what we mean is, if I was to highlight this tweet body, you can see that it has this class property. And this is one way of how we can find elements on in a HTML page. So we select this, you can see that it's this, but don't worry if that doesn't make too much sense. Again, we're going to be vibe coding this. So the whole point of this is to write as little to no code as possible. So let's go back to ChatGPT, and what we're going to do now is copy this prompt. But before we do this, let's create a new folder. I'm going to go to my code folder, and I'm going to create a new folder here. I think I'm going to call it AI X AI detector detector. And the name is not important. We can change that at any time. And now I'm going to open up Cursor, right? So if you're vibe coding, there's a number of tools that you can use to vibe code. There's Windsurf, there's Cursor, there's Cloud Code, which is my preference. And if you're building web apps, there's even more. For example, there's Lovable and Bolt, which you can use to generate almost perfect, fully complete web apps. But for this tutorial, we're going to be using Cursor because, like I said, I already exhausted my Cloud Code credits. And so we're just going to have to settle for Cursor, which Cursor is really good at vibe coding. So I'm going to just open up a new window here in Cursor. And I'm just going to close, just maximize it. Okay. And let me just open up that folder. Okay. So we're now in our XAI detector project. Completely brand new project, as you can see here. Like I said, I promise we're going to be doing this step by step from scratch. So let's grab our prompt that ChatGPT gave us. So let's do that. Get out of here. Okay, so I'm going to grab this prompt. And in Cursor, we have a composer or this chat on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side, wherever you have it set up on your instance of Cursor. But we're just going to paste that prompt here. You're going to be building a Chrome extension. So we already went over this prompt. And I just have like auto mode selected. So let's see if Cursor is going to be able to generate this project for us. Okay, so it's generating a lot of code here. It's generating a README documentation. Okay, so let's see. I've created all the necessary files for your Chrome extension. Okay, so it's giving us a summary here. It's always important that you read through this because you want to understand the code that you vibe coded. Because as the complexity of the project grows, if you don't understand what it's doing, it's going to be very difficult to maintain. So I'm just going to say keep all, and let's see how this works. So if we go to the bottom to install this, it's giving us the instructions of how we can install this in Chrome. Okay, so let's give this a try. So we're gonna go here to Google Chrome, and then I think we can go to like extensions, Chrome extensions, and you're gonna need to have developer mode on. You can see that top right corner, I already have developer mode enabled. We're gonna click load unpacked, and then we're gonna go to our project folder, and we're gonna select this. Okay, so it looks like we already have an issue. Could not load icon 16 PNG specified in icons. So let's see. I'm actually not sure if it's required that we need to specify an icon because this is the first time I'm creating a Chrome extension, and yeah, I'm not sure. Let me go to the manifest here, and it's passing these icons, but I'm not sure if we actually need this, so I'm gonna ask it. Because I get this error. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so it removed it. So I'm gonna keep all. Now let's give this another try. We're gonna go load unpacked and select our project folder, select it, and it says that the extension has been loaded. So what we're gonna do now is go to x.com. Wow. 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 Okay. So can you guys see on my X feed, we have this new badge at the top right corner of each post with a percentage. So it's random generated at this moment. Keep in mind we don't have a backend yet. But it's actually working. You can see like our badge, 68% AI, 92% AI. And let's see if we keep scrolling, if we're going to see the badge. Wow. Wow. So you see the infinite load there, right? So we reach all the way at the bottom and we got this loading spinner to load in new posts. And you can see that the badge is still there for each post. So this is absolutely amazing. And this is good progress. So I'm very happy with what Cursor was able to generate for us, and I think the badge actually looks pretty good as well. I was wondering if we would need to actually tweak the UI, but I'm happy with this. Being that this is just our MVP, so we don't have to go crazy with this, right? I'm very excited right now because you can see, right? It all comes down to providing a good and concrete prompt. And you can see here that once you do that, it really doesn't matter what vibe coding tool you're using. It's gonna do a good job of generating a very accurate app or the type of app that you're asking for. So now that we have our Chrome extension working, the next thing that we need to actually start working on is our backend. So I think we're at 22 minutes now, or 23 minutes. So let's see how quickly we can vibe code our backend for this. So we can come back here to our Chrome extension and let's go to content.js and generate AI likelihood. So it looks like this is the function that is generating that random percentage between 1 and 100. And you can see here to do replace with actual AI detection API call. Okay. So let's ask Cursor to help us plan our API, right? So we're going to just enter a prompt here, and I'm just going to switch the mode to ask. And I'm going to say here, okay, I'm going to start working on my backend, my API. What inputs will you be posting to my API? Okay. So let's see what we get here. So this will make a post request with the tweet text. And then we're going to say, okay, this is the text, the actual tweet text. And then the response will be a integer between, I think, 1 and 100 or 0 and 100, whatever. And yeah, 1 and 100 representing the percentage. Okay, great. My only concern here is that we might, since, we, on the first page load, we have a lot of, you can see that we have a lot of posts loaded by default. I'm wondering if we're going to eventually run into rate limits, but we're gonna think about that if that issue arises later on. So let's see how we're going to do this. how are we going to do this? I think what I'm going to do is create a brand new project. So I'm going to create a new project. How do we create a new project here? Okay, let me just do it in my code directory. And we're going to call this folder XAI, the Debugging API. Okay. So let's talk about what an API is for a sec if you're not too familiar with it. It's whatever project or app you're building will almost always have to communicate with an API. And an API is the business logic of your app. So if you can imagine, in our case, we're building a Chrome extension to rate the AI likeliness of expose. We don't want our LLM model API keys to live in our Chrome extension or on the client. It's much more secure for you to abstract this functionality in your API. And so that's what we're going to be doing here. By the way, guys, I do have a number of years experience as a software developer, so that's why it might seem that like I know a lot when it comes to this, but regardless, you get the experience as you build real world projects like this, right? So we've created our new project folder, XAI Detector API. So I am going to open that project here, code Detector API. Now, I don't want to get too technical here, but when it comes to writing an API for your vibe coded apps, there's a ton of options. You'll see for our Chrome extension, we're using the JavaScript programming language, and I like to keep it consistent as much as possible. So I want to use a API framework that is in JavaScript. And one of the most popular one to use is a framework called Express JS. This is just one of many, guys, but when you're choosing a framework, whether for the front end or whether for the back end, you want to try to use one that is popular, well maintained, well updated, and has a like vibrant community backing it. And if all of those like check marks are ticked, then that means that the LLM model that you use for vibe coding, right, in my case, Cloud Code, will usually have a lot of knowledge about that particular framework. And Express.js is one of the more mature backend JavaScript framework. And so the vibe coding tools usually do a good job of writing APIs in this framework. Okay, so let's start working here. So we know that we're going to send a request that contains the text for the tweet, but we're going to pass that as context here. But first, let's just start passing a very basic prompt here to cursor to create a minimal Express.js API. So I want you to create a minimal Express.js API for my Chrome extension, right? I want you to set up hot reload and I want you to create a dummy endpoint. So what is our endpoint? We can see here. I'm just going to say post slash XAI detect. this API endpoint will receive a text field. A text field which will contain the body of a tweet. Eventually, we will pass this text. Oh no. No. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video here and type that out again. Sorry guys. Actually, I opened a new tab here, which I haven't used cursor in a while, so I didn't know about it. So let me just exit out of this. And here's our original prompt. So eventually we will pass this text to an LLM model API to detect if this post is AI generated and rate it so from 1 to 100%. Okay. But for now, you can just return a random rating between 1 and 100%. And so you can see here, cursor is expecting a kind of like a response like this. So AI likelihood, we're going to say here in the response JSON, set a field AI likelihood to the percentage. Okay. Okay, so here is our prompt that we're going to give cursor to create a minimal Express.js API for our Chrome extension. Now, as I mentioned, I am familiar with software development. I have a number of years experience, so I know how to organize this prompt. But that's why I showed you guys like how to plan your prompt in ChatGPT. So if you're not familiar with, the backend framework or what technologies you should use, then I really encourage you to use ChatGPT as a researching tool here to help you come up with a prompt that you can then migrate to Cursor or Cloud Code or whatever vibe coding tool you're using, right? And that's what we did for the Chrome extension. So here for my API, I'm just going to submit this prompt. Okay, so here, Cursor is prompting us to install dependencies. So let me install the dependency. So I'm going to say run this command. Oh, this is going to be so cool if we can get this extension working. So now we're going to run the development server. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Let me check if the server started successfully by testing the health endpoints. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so it looks like it's working. But we can verify this before we even start integrating this with our Chrome extension. Our server should be running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a REST API client, which is a tool that you can install on your computer to test your API endpoints. So the one I use is called Yak. And we're going to create a new request here, HTTP. And we want to make a HTTP request to this endpoint. Right? So paste that endpoint there, change that from a get to a post request. And now we need to specify the data that we want to send in this request, which will be this text field. So let's grab this. And I'm going to come here on their body. I'll need to select JSON. And I'll need to paste the text. So this is sample tweet to a test AI detection. Let's give it a try. So you see here that we get back our API response, and let's see if we get a random AI likelihood rating, which you can see that we are here in this case. So this is great progress. Okay, so what we can now do is integrate our API with our Chrome extension, and so let's do that. Where's our front end? Okay, so this is a Chrome extension, and I'm going to say that, hey, I already have an API created. What we can do here is come back to our API client, and I'm going to pass that URL here at this endpoint, and then it takes a sample response like this. It expects the tweet body to be passed or sent like this. Okay, so let me say that this is a post request. Okay, so let's see what we get here. I think I forgot to specify like the response structure, but we'll see if Cursor is smart enough to detect it. And you know what? I need to change from this ask mode to the agent mode back. Otherwise, Cursor won't be able to write updates to my file. So what I'm going to say here is, please update it for me. So it should update this function here. What is this? I'm not sure what it's doing. Okay, so yeah, it's making a request to our API endpoint, a post request, response.json, and AI likelihood. So our API is returning, I'm just going to keep all, yeah, an AI likelihood field. So that's good. And let's see what we have here. So I made the update. Now it can wait for the API response, add a real API endpoint, error handling, console logging. So now the extension will extract the tweet from each tweet on the page, send that to our API, and then get back a response like this, and then display the badge with it. Okay. So this is good. We'll need to reload the extension. Okay. So let's do that. Here in our extension, I think we can just click this to reload. And let me open Inspector here to view the network request to see if we're actually hitting our API endpoint. So I'm going to paste or not paste, but I'm going to now go to twitter.com or x.com here. And let's see what we get. Okay. Yeah. This looks to be working. So you can see that we have a bunch of XAI detect requests being made here. And the payload is, be honest, how many projects have you launched this year? And then the response is the, yeah, AI likelihood. Let's see if we can find the first one. So this is the first one. And the payload is, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube right now? It looks like that's the second one, but you can see that this is actually the tweet body that we're submitting here. Where's the first one though? This is the first one. Okay, be honest. How many projects have you launched this year? This is the first tweet. If we look at the response, you can see that it has an AI rating of 53, but here it's showing 44. So it looks like we have some type of error. But that's to be expected. So we need to debug and figure what is going on here. So let's see if we can fix this, guys. Let me inspect this. And it looks like for a single, so I'm inspecting the tweet body. And then here, it looks like for a single tweet, we have multiple percentage ratings being added on to this tweet. So this is not correct at all. So this, let's see if we can pass this as context to cursor so that we can try to fix it. So here, let me grab a screenshot of this thing. Then I'm going to come back to our Chrome extension and let's paste that image. And then I'm going to say like, it looks like we are getting multiple rating badges tied to a single tweet, as you can see in the reference image. When I inspect the page, the tweet body, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is 6 badges for this one tweet. So I'm not even sure what the error is or the issue is. Well, let's see if cursor is smart enough to detect this. So it says it found the issue, but we'll see. I don't know why it's like this. Why does it give me this path? Like, just make the update to the file. Why do you have to give me this weird stuff? Okay, so it says that it fixed it. But let's see. First, we need to actually reload the extension. So I'm going to do that here. Reload. And bring up inspect. Switch to the network tab. Let's go to x.com now and see what we get. Okay. Let's inspect the badge and see if we have multiple badges. And it looks like we only get one now, so that's great. Great job. Now, let's go back to the network tab and see the request. Inspect the request to see if the percentage is correct for the tweet. So this is the first one. Let's see the highest return on purchase in the last 5 years. So this is the first tweet that we have here. What's their percentage? It's 70%. Great. Great. This is good. Let's see the next one. Let's see the second one. Okay. 17%. Awesome. And the third one should be 10. Whoops. So we go 70, 17, 10%. So this one says 10%. Let's see the network. So it looks like it did the same request again, but let's see, landing page for client. Is it worth it? Let's see preview. And the AI likeliness is 69%. So this is not correct. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm getting at here. It looks like we get the single badge now for a tweet body, but it looks like the percentage is not being tied correctly to the tweet. So for the first one, you can see here, where is it? AI detection complete. Go to payload. So this in payload tab, this is tweet body. And you can see here that the highest return, this tweet is rated at 70%. So that's correct, right? You can see 70% there. The next request, let's see the tweet body, landing page for client. We get back an AI likelihood percentage of 17%. The next one, it seems that we made the same request for highest return on purchase. And for this one, we get a response of 82%. Okay, so we have an issue here. It looks like it's making duplicated request for the tweet that we already generated a rating for. Okay, so let's see how we can prompt to fix this. Let's come here in cursor. Okay, it looks okay. That fixed the multiple badge issue, but now I have found a new issue. It looks like we are duplicating requests for tweets. And now we need to be clear here so that it's so that we have a high chance of cursor solving this for us. So here, payload. Let's take a screenshot of the request. For instance, in the first image, see how we make a request with tweet body of, just gonna grab this. And we get back a JSON. And then we get back a JSON of this. But then I notice the third request is hosting the same tweet body. As can be seen in the second image. And this time we get back a and this time we get back a different response. like that. So the first one was 70%, and then the second one was 82%. Okay, so I think this prompt is good. Let's see if Cursor can help us figure out why this is happening. Okay. I hate this. Run. Oh, we're so close, guys. We're so close to getting this working, but okay, let's see. So there's a lot of stuff here. Well, let's see if it actually works. So we need to reload our extension again. Let me just, then we can load. Okay. So this is the first tweet. Let's see what we get. Nope. Nope. That is, oh no. Okay, let's inspect. XAI. Oh man, this is wrong. This is wrong. So payload. Oh, text, is your account still under 1K? 28% correct. The second one. What's the tweet? 5 free tools to build a startup. 63%, that's correct. This one, let's see. 13%. The body is dog food tastes bad, but dog fooding, you can see 30%. Let's scroll to the next tweet. Some millionaires are following you. Payload, some millionaires are following you. Response, 95%. It looks like it's working. I don't want to jinx it, but let's continue reviewing. So the next tweet here is, want to know the secret to X growth. And this one, for some reason, doesn't have any badge. Super weird. Let's scroll down. Do we have any more requests? We do. Payload. My YouTube earnings. Preview, 92%. Looking good, guys. 83%. What's the tweet body? Does it match? Are you verified? Looks correct. Okay. So it's looking very, very accurate here. So it looks like the correct percentage is being tied to the correct tweet body. I don't know what happened here. It looks like I scrolled up and the badge just disappeared. So we still have some bugs here, but we're already at 55 minutes, so we'll figure that out later. For now, let's see how we can, instead of generating random percentages, let's use an LLM to do this for us. Okay. So what I'm going to do is come back to my API here. So this is my API. And we have an API endpoint XAI detect. And you can see here we're generating a random number between 1 and 100. And that's what we're returning. And we're going to need to change this, right? And so what we want to do here is integrate our API or connect our API to the Open Router API so that we can use an LLM to detect the percentage for us. So when you're vibe coding, an app, I think I said this already, it's almost guaranteed that you'll need to connect with an external API. Most external APIs have what we call documentation. These are developer guides that show you how to use the API. So it shows you what parameters the API accept and what response you should accept or you should expect, I should say. So we're going to be using Open Router. And I'm going to go to the API documentation. Let's go to docs. And it's just a quick start doc. So basically shows you how to use the model here using the router directly. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy this page. What this does is it copies the entire page in Markdown format, and we can use this as context to pass to cursor so that it knows how to integrate with the Open Router API. Okay, so skip, get out of here, and let's so let's tell cursor to integrate with Open Router API. So let's say for the XAI, the tech endpoint, instead of generating a random percentage between 1 and 100, let's integrate with the Open Router API to use. And now we need to decide which LLM we want to use to take the tweet body and generate a percentage based on how AI likely this tweet is. I'm just going to use GPT. And use GPT to detect if the tweet is AI generated and return a number between 1 in terms of how likely the tweet is AI generated. I am sharing with you some of the documentation to implement this API service. And let's see what we get here. Okay, so it's setting up some packages. So I'm going to need to specify my Open Router API key. But let's see what we get. Oh man, this video is already over 1 hour. I promise you we're going to get this working by the end of this video. It's not going to be 100% bug free, but we're going to get an MVP working. And this is actually an extension that I plan on publishing because this is something I think I would find very useful to, as I'm scrolling through my X feed in my browser, at a glance, detect which posts are AI generated or not, because I don't want to focus, a lot of my time reading AI generated tweets. I want to spend my time reading people's like real thoughts and stuff. So it looks like it's finished. What we're going to do here now is install packages. Okay. So this is our API endpoint. And now we're going to need to specify an API key. But I want to see what model is this thing using. So to take API, you can see it generated a complete open router service for us so that we can use the open router API. And it even generated here a system prompt. You are an AI detection expert. Analyze the following text and determine how likely it is to be AI generated. So the irony here, right? We're using AI to detect AI generated slop. And respond only with a number between 1 and 100. So that's very important. We just want a integer response here. So which model are we using? Config. What is config? So this thing, open router, the model, GPT-4o mini. So this is a cost-effective model, and that's true. So you did a good job there. Yeah, I think the only thing I need to specify here is an open router API key. So I'm going to pause the video here and create that environment variable file because I don't want to expose my open router API key. Okay, guys, so I'm back. I went ahead and created a .env file, and within that, I just pasted my open router API key. And so hopefully now where we can test this out and see if our integration with Open Router API is working, and we are able to use GPT to detect if the tweet is an AI generated tweet or not. So I'm just going to go back here and reload the extension. And let's inspect the element. Go to the network tab and let's go to x.com. So it looks like we're getting some percentages back, but we need to inspect this to see if it's actually using the response from our Open Router API, guys. So what I'm going to do here actually is in my API project, I'm going to console.log the AI likelihood. So we just do a console.log here. And reject into what different. I don't want to. So we have our terminal running here, and let's see what we get. That's not what I want to print. What I want to print is this open router thing. So I'm probably going to need to restart the development server, and let's run it again. So npm run dev, and let's try this again. Here up, inspect network x.com. Okay, let's inspect the console logs that we're getting. So here you can see that we added this console.log here, open router AI likelihood, and we have this log here. You can see in the development server, fired 45%. Let's make this thing bigger. 45%. I can't see what's after that because of the Screen Studio thing. But let's see here in our extension. So here we're expecting the network, XAI detect. So starting a store, and then the response is 75%, right? Looking good. Do we have a 75% here? Yeah, we do. Okay. So we get 75%. After that, we get 45%. This is for the, one thing is for sure tweet. So this tweet here, and you can see the response we're getting back here is 4 to 5%. Great. We go to the next tweet. Payload is be an insider, stay ahead of the launch, join here. And then the response we get back is 85% AI generated. So this looks like it's working, but I don't think the percentage rating is really accurate. So like I can read some of these tweets and then I can know as like a human, like some of these aren't AI generated. So like this one doesn't seem AI generated. This one doesn't seem AI generated. This one doesn't even have a rating. So we have a bug there, right? This one, why do programmers prefer coding at night? Does not look AI generated. Nope. And you can see as we're scrolling, we have a lot of them, a lot of the tweets that like have missing badges. So we need to fix that. Like this one is saying like 85% AI generated. So I'm pretty sure that in order to fix this, all I need to do is really play around with the system prompt here and maybe experiment with a different LLM model. And then I also have to fix that, that bug that I have here where like for some tweets, like it's missing the percentage badge. But, I think we did it. I think you saw from start to end like a fully completed vibe coding session for creating a Chrome extension that will give us like a little badge rating for tweets, so that we can have at a glance like know which tweets are AI generated. It's not perfect. As you can clearly see, some of the badges just seem to disappear, but we have an MVP, guys. And yeah, this was quite a long video, probably the longest video that I recorded. I don't know, hopefully this is helpful for people watching because a lot of people like to make it out like when you're vibe coding is like this magical experience. You're not going to run into any issues at all. You just provide a single prompt and you can one shot an entire application. But that couldn't be any farther from the reality. And as you can see here, while we were able to generate our Chrome extension or vibe code or Chrome extension, it still has a number of flaws that need correcting and that will require more time and dedication to fix. But this is the end of the video. I'm hopeful that you guys found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one.